Michael sat in solitary silence as he pondered the words of Lucifer. He knows the warnings about the temptation of his words, but this is so much more than that. The words Lucifer said, he revealed to the world what no one that walks the living world should have any way of knowing, and what he said caused a great sadness in Michael. Now he too suffered that same heartbreaking realization about their maker. He lied to him. All this time, all those people he had commanded to be hunted down, their lives destroyed, had them driven to the edge of madness, kept them away from opportunity in life. Were they not evil demons, abominations to creation, sinners beyond redemption? Were they truly innocent children? People who were caught between another typical God's iron-fisted command and need to control those who believed in him through fear like a rampant tyrant.
Yes, brother, it hurts, doesn't it?
Michael had not been paying attention. Lost in his grief and confusion,
"Begone from me, unholy and foul thing."
Lucifer smiled and said,
No, I think that is the last thing you want right now, brother. I'm the only one who understands you right now.
Michael stood his ground and then calmed down as he said,
"What you said about how you fell, that was all true, wasn't it?"
Lucifer looked at Michael with a grim frown.
You know how we are when we profess testimony to others about God. We have a decorum that we cannot deny. We are forced to profess the truth and words that protect his name. We cannot blaspheme his name. Not even me in my exile here. I can't even say a swear word with his name in the same sentence.
Michael felt like he just got hit with a fist made of bricks. Lucifer, though, looked confused.
What is this? Are you having a moment of doubt in your faith, Michael?
Lucifer shook his head in disdain.
Let me guess. You're having problems coming to terms with the truth of him. Once again, Michael, you have failed to realize that loyalty does not always require honor. It requires dedication. You must understand what it means to be who he is and his responsibilities. As a creator myself of magical creatures, I understand that the role of a god requires you to have a responsibility to those who have faith in you because they believe in you and depend on that belief. As the creator of all things, this is even more so true. All things have a beginning and an end, and his introduction tells us all that he writes the outcome of both ends. I have always said that I knew that immortality was a burden someone should never have to bear. And now you know why, having to watch it all rise and fall, over and over again. To watch everything around you turn to dust, as you turn to dust inside along with it.
Lucifer turned and looked upon his fellow brother with pity.
I had come here to finish our little squabble, but you seem weakened at the moment, so I shall put this can of whip-ass on pause. I don't fight with handicapped odds. Just remember, to be capable of designing everything that is, both good and evil, requires someone who is more than just incapable of being lured by sin or immaculate in virtue. It requires someone who understands them both in their entirety. My point is, do not feel grief, brother. Have faith in what you know is true about him. Don't judge him by the cover of his book. Denounce the rumors and hold fast to what you have witnessed about him. See you when you're feeling more yourself.
I remember that fateful day, the day Jesus died. The air was heavy, few clouds were in the sky, and the Son of Man had been up there for a few days now. During the day off and on a small crowd of people would gather about 20 feet away. That was as close as the Romans would let them get. At one point, the day before this one, a man was in the crowd watching the Romans torment Jesus. It began when Jesus woke up from his minor comatose moments when he either passed out due to the excruciating pain or the blood loss. His hands were tied with thistle bush vines, the same thing they made his mock crown with. The sign hung above him that said, Sol Invictus, which meant invincible son in Greek, in mockery of his father. His left hand was still bleeding where they had tried to hang him like the others, but Pilate had given specific orders not to abuse him too much because he wanted him to hang upon the cross as long as possible before he died for the maximum effect. So the guard was stopped as he was placing the nails in, and they wrapped the thornbush vines around his hands instead. As he woke from his death slumber he muttered, "Water, have mercy, water." One soldier got up from where he sat and told the others, "Did you hear something? I think he's thirsty." He grabbed a piece of bread from one of the other soldiers' plates and dipped it in the vase that had mead in it that had just been freshly fermented. He stuck the bread on the end of a stick and wiped his lips with it. Jesus pulled his head away, but the soldier chased him, smearing it across his face, and Jesus spit the moist meat out, and it landed on the soldier. Infuriated, the soldier picked up his spear. His Highness must be too good for our meager bits of scrap. Well, there is one way to get that bad blood out of him. He pierced the side of Jesus, and then stuck the bread on the tip, pushing it into his wound. Bad blood out. Good blood in is always the best way to clean you up, I say. The man in the crowd spoke up and said, "Why is he putting up with this? If he's the Son of God, why does he not just come up off of there and end this suffering?" That was the day before. Now it was dusk the next day. The sky was an orange-red hue, and few clouds were in the sky. He woke from his death sleep one last time. The blurred memories of his apostles, sitting around the table of their last meal together, discussing what to do with the news Jesus had just told them of carrying on his teachings, were the main topic. He thought to himself, everyone here had plans and ideas of erecting meeting houses where they would discuss the ways of living right and wisdom they would share, just as Jesus had with the people in the towns he visited. Mary spoke of finding someone who would see her for who she was, and not what she could do, a man who was not hung upon the material things, for material wealth was pointless in life, and brought no one true joy. That was what she had learned from the teacher while she was with them. He thought to himself, but no one offered up a way to save him or free him from the fate he knew must unfold. No one is willing to go the distance and defy his command because it wasn't the right thing to do as he had hoped. Had he missed teaching them the greatest lesson of all? Where was his father? Would he not meet him here at his death to lead him to the place of his forefathers? Where was Elohiah? Was he forsaken? Was he abandoned? He raised his head up with the last of his strength and said out loud, "Father, why have you forsaken me?" This was a painful memory that still runs fresh in this life in my nightmares. I do not fear it though. I do not wake up screaming but crying instead. So let us focus on the purpose here, so his salvation will unfold as I have written it, so too shall it be done. It was then that the small patch of clouds overhead spilled over on itself, growing in size. A bright light shined down upon that one spot where he hung, and from within the clouds a swirling vortex opened up, and two great angels came down from heaven. One was so bright he could not be looked upon, and he rode a fiery horse. The other was enveloped in a dark shroud, and he had no face that could be seen, and an ice-cold breeze followed in front of him wherever he went. It was the fallen angels Lucifer and Uriel. They came down and stood before the body of Jesus, who had just expelled his last breath. "Well, we have a live one here now, don't we?" Lucifer grinned. Uriel looked at him with disdain. "You joke now in a time like this? He's dead. Show some respect." Lucifer scoffed. "No, he's not dead, he's just sleeping. He can't die just like us, even if he wanted to." Uriel rolled the space where his head should be. "I know, but they think if they convince him to want to die then he will. That's the point of him hanging here." Lucifer replied, "Fine, then wake him up." The angel of death stretched out his hand and touched the center of his forehead, and the spirit of Jesus vaporized from everywhere and formed together at the bottom of the cross at his body's feet. "What happened? Where am I?" He looked at the two standing before him and gasped, "What are you? Wait, I know you from a dream, I think." Jesus looked curious. The angels looked at each other and back at him. Lucifer said, "See, I told you. It's in." Uriel spoke and said, "Son of the Most High, we are angels given a task by your father long ago, in a time before the great flood." Lucifer spoke up and said, "When your father cast us into our dominions, he gave us these keys, and instructed us to give them to you at this time. Inside you is the light of your father from which you were conceived. You must reach within you and find that light and give him these keys. Remember to hold the thought in your mind that they are the keys of life and death, just as he had planned. He will know what to do with them." Jesus reached up and took the keys from the two angels. He closed his eyes and focused on the light within him. A ray of that light shined brightly and touched the keys he held, Suddenly Jesus' eyes flew open, and from his dead body the light broke through, shooting straight up into the sky, enveloping his body. Jesus suddenly grew brighter as the light seemed to have consumed the spiritual form in its glow as it erupted straight up into the sky and disappeared. Lucifer hadn't even budged, but Uriel stumbled back and fell to the ground. He then stammered, "Is it over? Where did he go? I thought we were done for a second there." Amazingly, the spirit of Jesus was still sitting there, but he had this glow about him like a large living light bulb. Lucifer looked puzzled. Well, this is unexpected. Christ child, are you okay? Jesus slowly stood up. I think so. I feel strange. I know I'm dead, but where I was cold within of emotion, now I feel. Lucifer shrugged as he got back onto his fiery steed. I don't know any more than what we have done, son of he who is I am. I must return now to the outer darkness, for I still retain the keys to hell, which means I must return to my appointed position as their guardian. Uriel quickly jumped on his horse, thinking Lucifer was going to leave him there. Wait a second, Lucifer, not so fast. What was the meaning of all this? Lucifer laughed a little. Even after all this time, Uriel, you are still the seemingly naive angel I knew then, always wandering around clueless and always asking why. The point was simple. God wanted us to fulfill his plan for us, for one, and for two he wanted to exonerate you by showing me the truth of why you were not fallen like the others, and for three he was showing to me the purpose of the keys in the first place. Well, the keys in our hands, that is, they are our official appointments as lead guardian angels over the earth. Mine is the keys of hell, the utter darkness, furthest from his presence in a time of a godless age of man. Your keys are your appointment to the Renaissance era as the guardian angel over the earth during the Black Plague, and the rest I won't mention here because that's all man is allowed to know. Now let us return to our place in creation. And the two rode into the twilight sky and swirling clouds that opened before them to take them home, their duty to that task complete. As they began to enter the vortex, they could hear a billowing voice that spoke like thunder. I am. Lucifer suddenly cut him off. I know, therefore I am. And the swirling clouds enveloped them as they vanished.
Brazil, we meet again. You have played your part flawlessly. It is gratifying to attain both freedom and vengeance in a single stroke. No! You cannot! This one is strong. Good.
My next move requires a more durable host. Mortals are such fragile vessels. Willing or not, you have provided the instrument of our victory.
I wouldn't celebrate just yet.
You pathetic creature. You haven't got a clue. The seduction of the Circle and possession of Mortanius, Ariel's murder, the corruption and collapse of the Pillars, all orchestrated as a prelude to this moment. We sought an incorruptible vessel, and you provided one. We required the blood of our ancient enemy, and you delivered Janos Ordren, having first been lured to the heart of darkness. Best of all, you murdered the Scion of Balance to get it. We've already won. Brazil, you must not allow them to carry out their plan. Kill me, and you end it now. Suicidal like the rest of them. Know your place, Brazil. The true hero plays his role and then steps aside. You deluded fool. Do you so wish to die a martyr for the vampire's lost cause?
You're not leaving this chamber. I will destroy Janos if I have to.
Very well then. I'll indulge you. Now it is finished, and thus a new epic has its beginning.
Every day that man remains free is one more failure. 347 days, gentlemen. 347 failures.
Chancellor, we do not have the adequate force.
We are being buried beneath the avalanche of your inadequacies, Mr. Creedy.
How many were that? So far we count 8 boxcars, several 100,000 at least. Christ.
I want anyone caught with one of those masks arrested. Give me the money! Give me the fucking money!
We're under siege here. The whole city's gone mad. This is exactly what I want. What?
Anarchy in the UK!
Chaos.
Mr. Creedy, I am holding you personally responsible for this situation.
The problem is that he knows us better than we know ourselves.
enough. This realm can be saved. Remade. In my image. King Gilgamesh. You seek immortality, but you found only death!